Bit slippery here, but there we go. This book, great book, Atomic Habits. I'm starting a book club. I want to create a book club where you and I can learn from one another. And one of the best things that you can do in life is turn off the television and read a book. Read information or learn from others. So with that in mind, I'm going to start a book club where I discuss various books. And hopefully you'll join that book club and share your input about books such as Atomic Habits or Extreme Ownership or other books that you've found useful. I'm hoping that through this book club, network engineers and people interested in networking can share information with one another. It doesn't just have to be for network engineers, it can be for people in IT. So there's going to be a focus on technical topics, but also topics such as those topics discussed in this book that can help you in your career. In this book, James talks about the 4 laws of creating good habits. The first law is make it obvious. Make it obvious. Second law is make it attractive. Third law is make it easy. And the fourth law is make it satisfying. Implement those 4 laws in your life and it will result in better habits in your life. Now, once again, there are so many good principles in this book that you can apply practically in your life. One of them is motivation is overrated. Don't try and use motivation all the time to improve your life or to improve your situation. Don't just rely on motivation. Change your environment. It's a lot easier to get physical exercise walking around here rather than being stuck in a city, as an example. The environment helps you change the way that you behave. So don't just rely on your motivation. Change your environment to make it conducive to studying. Change your environment to set yourself up for success. If you have a messy environment, it may be more difficult to study. So find an environment or create an environment that's going to help you succeed in life. Rather than trying to fight the environment, change the environment. So as an example, he says here in this chapter, small changes in context can lead to large changes in behavior over time. Every habit is initiated by a cue. We are more likely to notice cues that stand out. Make the cues of good habits obvious in your environment. Gradually, your habits become associated not with a single trigger, but with the entire context surrounding the behavior. The context becomes the cue. It is easier to build new habits in a new environment because you're not fighting against old cues. Another very important principle is habits shape your identity and vice versa. James uses the example of a smoker. Rather than someone saying, I'm trying to give up smoking, they could say, I'm not a smoker. So when someone offers them a cigarette, there's a change in the identity of the two people. The one person simply says, I'm trying to give up smoking, whereas the other person says, I'm not a smoker. There is a fundamental difference in the identity of those two people. You can change who you are by changing your identity through habits. So rather than saying, I'm trying to become a network engineer, state that you are a network engineer and have the habits of a network engineer. Network engineers, if they're good, continuously study. They never stop studying. So if you want to be good at networking, if you want to be a good network engineer, don't stop studying. Keep on studying. Keep on learning new technologies. He uses these examples. The goal is not to read a book. The goal is to become a reader. The goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal is not to learn an instrument. The goal is to become a musician. The goal is not to learn OSPF. The goal is to become an excellent or very good network engineer. What does a very good network engineer do? As an example, in this book, he mentions someone who wanted to lose weight. So what did they do? They followed the habits of people who were thin or who were healthy. So would they eat a bagel or would they skip on the bagel? Would they eat a donut or would they skip on the donut? When they implemented the habits of a healthy person, they lost weight and became healthy. Decide the type of person you want to be and then prove it to yourself with small wins. In this book, the author explains how you can change your life by making small changes. One of the examples he gives is how an aeroplane will end up in a totally different place if it simply changes its direction by 1 degree. You can change your life entirely by having good habits rather than bad habits. Don't try and change everything in your life. Just try and change small things. Even if you change it by 1%, you can change your entire life. Another example the author gives is the example of the British Cycling Federation, or British Cycling if you like. They never won any medals, but when they changed things by 1%, they started winning medals at the Olympics and other places. So by making small changes in your life, but making those changes in multiple places, you can have a big effect on where you go in life. So change the direction that you're going by making small adjustments. Implement good habits. Don't try and change everything. Try and change small things, and those small things will have a big effect in your life. So I recommend that you get this book. I recommend that you buy this book and change your life. Get good habits in your life and change your life. Don't just expect things to happen. Change your behavior and change the way that you live by implementing good habits in your life. You don't have to change everything. Small changes can result in large effects in your life over time.